Hi, I'm Christy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm here to kick off a new reading vlog for historical romances. We're going to be reading 3 together, so let's hop in. Alright, I had so much fun doing a historical romance reading vlog in January where I read Western historical romances. I will link that below if you missed it because I read 3 for that vlog. It was so much fun. And so I just want to continue doing that this year of doing like historical romance reading vlogged, kind of themey ones. And so for my January one, I kind of themed it around the Historical Hellions book club pick for that month because I am a co-host for that historical romance where we read historical romances published before the year 2000. So far I'm kind of using that as a guide of the books that I'm going to pick up that month. Of course, as other months go on, I might kind of branch out and just read other historical romances that I'm feeling at the time. But for now, I'm kind of leaning into the theme of it all. So for February, our Historical Hellions book club pick is The Seduction by Nicole Jordan. So this is going to be one of the ones I include in here. So this one, love the gold on here. Love the kind of canopy / the drapes on the bed. We have the rose moment and then this step back, a stunner. This is going to be perfect for like Valentine's Day type of February themed, the roses. This one also sounds really, really good. So the theme for this, I don't know if it's going to be like a mistressy revenge type of plot. I feel like that's what I'm going to go with, kind of a revengey be my mistress type of situation. So this one, it is a notorious rake-hell in Regency London. The hero is Lord Damien Sinclair. He sought only his own pleasure until his beloved younger sister was injured and her reputation ruined during a forbidden tryst. Now Damien will do anything to destroy the young nobleman guilty of hurting her. And so he goes to the heroine, who is the sister of the brother who hurt the hero's sister, if that makes sense. And so it says that the heroine Vanessa will protect her foolish brother at all costs, even if it means entering into an illicit bargain with the dangerously handsome Lord Sin. When Vanessa offers to act as a companion to Lord Sin's sister, Damien agrees with one scandalous condition. He'll forgive her brother's debts and what he did if she agrees to become his mistress. So I'm very intrigued. This will be the first time I'm reading anything by Nicole Jordan, so I'm excited. So that is the setup for this one. I feel like the mistress type of be my mistress trope isn't always my favorite, but I feel like if it's handled correctly, I could get down and enjoy it. So I am intrigued by this one, and a kind of revenge plot as well. I feel like that could work for me. So I'm very intrigued with this one. All right, and then the next one is Indiscreet by Mary Baylog. This one is so pretty. Obsessed with the pink cover and the gorgeous like scenery. If it will focus, it's metallic, so it kind of shines and it's hard to pick up. But the picture, the like couple on here, I mean, with the floral is so pretty. So this is also the first book in one of her series. And so this one has to do with a kind of mistress plot as well. So in here, the heroine is a beautiful young widow, and it says she seemed like the easy prey for the hero, Viscount Raleigh. So he says in here, the hero is in the country visiting his twin brother, and Rex, the hero, has always longed for a little diversion. But Catherine Winters was a lady of virtue, and she roundly rejected his improper proposal to become his mistress. Since the handsome lord would not be daunted, Catherine fought the feelings he aroused, feelings that brought to life a past she had sought to escape. One kiss could bring her to ruin, but temptation proved a worthy foe, and Catherine could not ignore the beating of her treacherous heart. So I am very intrigued by this one, kind of a mistress / be my mistress type of situation. I feel like that's very common for Mary Baylog books, at least the ones I have read from her, the heroes like immediately falling for the heroines and wanting them to be their mistress, and the heroines being like, absolutely not, step back. So I'm intrigued by this one, and I cannot wait to get to it. This is an author who I really love her books. I have to be in the mood to pick up hers, but they're very much like cozy, kind of low angst, very slice of life. So she kind of reminds me of like Beverly Jenkins and Laverl Spencer and those type of authors, Julie Garwood, those authors that I love. So I'm excited to read a new one from her. I do have the whole series as well on my shelves, so hopefully I love this one. This one in particular has been recommended a few times, and I know this series has audiobooks as well on Hoopla, so definitely excited to get to this one. And then the third one is Tears of Gold by Laurie McBain. This is an author I fell in love with last year. I have read like half of her backlist now, and so I'm excited to finish out the rest. This cover is absolutely stunning, one of my all-time favorites. So much going on with the scene here, like the couple, the heroine's hair, this ship right here, like a person on a horse, and then we have a wraparound, or this person here, and then it continues to the back, and like so much is happening, and I'm so intrigued by like every little vignette we get. They all look absolutely stunning, and it has red sprayed edges. Obsessed. This is originally published in, I want to say 1979. I thought that was the year. Yes, 1979. I cannot wait to get to this one. This one sounds really good. So this is more of that kind of mistress type of situation where the heroine in here, I believe she was working as an actress or something, to where this guy ended up falling in love with her and wanting her. And I think she turned him down, maybe not like purposefully or in a hateful, deceitful way, but basically he was offended and I think he actually offed himself. And so his uncle now is wanting to get revenge on the woman who broke his nephew's heart. And so the uncle of that guy is the hero in this one, and he tracks down the heroine, and now she's in America, I want to say. Yes, she went from London and Paris to sun-baked California deserts. She left a trail of broken hearts. She could seduce the moonlight, but she was lost without his love. Nicholas pursued her halfway around the world, only to have his dreams of vengeance and revenge crushed when he met her in the flesh. For though he was sworn to kill her, she was the love he would die for. Excuse me? The drama? I am so intrigued. So another kind of like revengey, gonna seduce you / apparently try to kill you situation. I cannot wait to get to this one. This one as well, I think it's on Kindle Unlimited. I know Laurie McBain, her historical romances kind of go off and on from Kindle Unlimited, so I think this one might be on Kindle Unlimited. I know some of hers have audiobooks. I think this is one that does as well. And as far as I know, hers have not been edited, so I do definitely always do my research and check into historical romances, especially these older ones. I like to make sure I'm reading the version that I want to read / that the author wanted to put out, and not maybe like a re-edited version later on down the line. So I want to make sure I'm reading like the original format, if that makes sense. So I am very intrigued to get to this one. I cannot wait because I'm obsessed with this author's writing. So those three, that's kind of the theme. I guess they're all kind of like Valentine's Day / pinks and reds. They're very like February colors as well. They're also like kind of mistressy, revenge type of plots. So I'm intrigued to get to all three of these. Maybe they're less linked than the Western ones I did for the last vlog. But either way, I'm excited. They don't have to match. I'm just excited to get into all three of these. So I cannot wait. I just want to do the intro, and I will check in again later once I start and have something to say about some of these books. A vlog update. It's been about 2 weeks actually since I filmed the intro to this vlog, so it has been quite some time. February ended up taking a turn that I was not expecting, so I am ready to get back into the vlog, update you on a couple books I read. I did end up finishing Indiscreet by Mary Baylog, so I will update about that in a second. And then I also am going to fit in here Dreaming of You by Lisa Kleypas. Originally I didn't plan to include this as one of the books I was reading for the vlog, but I decided to make this more of like a red and pink covers for February, so I'm going to include it. This of course is the newer edition of Dreaming of You. I also have the older version, which is more of like a peachy pink color, so I'm going to include it for this vlog because I did read it. And let's just talk all the things historical romances. So first time for a quick / not really quick, just an update in general. This is why I never sit in this chair, because then I just want to spin and rotate the entire time. So I'm going to try to not do that as much as I usually do. But anyways, I'm here to update on some things that have gone down for the beginning of the year and for February in general. More of like a personal check-in. So content warning ahead for cancer, parents with cancer, any of those type of things. So if you don't want to listen to my update, totally fine, totally get that. Respect your time and energy here. So let's get into it. So my mom's health has not been good for over a decade at this point. She was actually first diagnosed with breast cancer back in I don't even know which year. I think I'm like 11 or 12 years ago at this point. And so she had it back then. She did all the things. She did surgeries. She did chemo and radiation, all the things, got it under control, did that for like what, a year and a half maybe, got that out of the way. And then she was cancer free for about 4 years until it ended up coming back, which was about 7 years ago now at this point. And so it came back as stage 4 cancer. And so that is what she has. That's something she's going to have for the rest of her life. Her cancer is actually super aggressive. And so she has to have chemotherapy every 3 weeks. She's had chemo every 3 weeks for the past 7 years, that she has to continuously do this for the rest of her life to keep the cancer at bay and kind of keep her body healthy. So everything has gone swimmingly with that. And so because of that, her health is always just kind of in concern, I guess you could say. Not really, but also just like kind of the fact that she's maybe more prone to sicknesses, illnesses. She's obviously not trying to do anything to put her body in jeopardy because it's already going through so much every single month. And so that's just been like our daily / that's just what we live with regularly, that she has that and will continue to have that, and has to have her chemo every 3 weeks to keep it at bay in her body. And so there's no signs of it. But of course, once you are diagnosed with stage 4, you can never like get rid of that. It's going to stay there. And so that's what's been going on with her for the past 7 years. So that's just something always in the back of the mind, where she's constantly doing tests and scans and constantly in and out of the hospital for different things to make sure that her body is all right, and that her body is also adjusting or being able to be comfortable with the chemotherapy that she's doing all the time on her body, because that takes a strain on other parts in your body as well. So she's always dealing with that. And then the last, I want to say like year, she's just had like other health concerns that have come up in regards to that, not specifically the cancer, but because of doing that, it's kind of brought other issues, or different things have been like exacerbated in her body. So last year in 2025, she started off the new year being in the emergency room and having multiple different complications from things, and them trying to figure out what was going on. So she had a surgery last spring in 2025 that then led into just kind of a complicated summer with her, and then kind of her body healing. And last, I think fall, is when they decided, okay, you're going to have another surgery in January of 2026. So that was scheduled on the books just to kind of get rid of some of the things that were causing issues. So she had that the first week of January of this year of 2026. And so when she did that, the surgery, everything went smooth, went fine. She was in the hospital for I think like a day or two until they let her be released and go home. And then a week later is when she ended up having to go to the emergency room because she was having fevers and chills and just complications from post-surgery. So she ended up going to the emergency room in January. And from there, she ended up finding out she had an infection just from like post-surgery situations. So she was given an antibiotic, was sent back home, and then she was home for about a week. And then the very last week of January, she ended up having to go back to the emergency room because she was still having this lingering fevers, chills, things going on, to where she knew her body was trying to struggle with something while also still healing from the surgery. So the very end of January, that last weekend, into the first week of February, she was in the emergency room. While there, she also had to have an emergency surgery. So she's had 2 surgeries in the first, month of the year, multiple trips to the emergency room. She was in the ER for a week trying to get everything stable. So her health was not great. And again, these are things not directly, but kind of like indirectly. Her body's being affected by things from her cancer. Like, it's not the cancer being the problem anymore. It's just other things in her body. Other things are going on and reacting or having situations come up, which is, of course, is just going to be the future of her life and health. So had that going on. And because of that, I personally was not doing any reading for the first week of February. My headspace was not great. My mental health was not great. So because of that, I didn't do any reading. And that's why it was such a long break before this vlog, which she is finally back home now, and her health is doing good, or better, I should say, because they were able to finally diagnose what the actual infection was that was affecting her body. And because of that, they were able to prescribe her the correct antibiotics of what she needed, the more like targeted antibiotic instead of just like a general one. So all things are great now. She finally feels like her body's healing, and she's getting more comfortable and being able to feel like her body's actually healing on the inside, and she can feel like her energy's coming back. So that's great news. So finally, just like a little bit of a relief moment. So I was definitely kind of absent from social media and reading and just things like that for that week, because my mind was just kind of racing on other thoughts as we get older and as our parents get older. So that was going on, and I wasn't wanting to pick up any books. Instead, I ended up doing like some comfort rewatches and ended up rewatching and binging a bunch of old shows that I love, and I watched a lot of movies and TV shows and just kind of did that to take my mind off of something else instead of just sitting and reading. I needed like multiple forms of entertainment like kind of coming at me to kind of keep my mind off of things. So that is how I kind of regulated that situation for myself. But again, she is doing good now, and on a day-to-day basis, even though she's been doing chemo every 3 weeks for the past 7 years, she's pretty much healthy and good all the rest of the time. Like everything else is going amazingly, and as long as she keeps it at bay and keeps this aggression of the cancer out of her body, everything's going swimmingly. So it's just other things that kind of pop up and things like that. So it's something that always, anytime she is sick or in the ER, it becomes more serious because of the fact of everything else going on with her. So it's always just interesting and complicated. Other people have asked like how my mom is, and it's always like a complicated answer because it's like, yeah, she was in the ER and she's better now, but also she does have this lingering thing that she's not ever going to be fully better. So it's complex, and I just wanted to talk about it on here because I don't ever really talk about it. I don't think I've actually ever mentioned it in a video. I think I had a post about it years back on Instagram, back in like my early days of Instagram, but besides that, like I don't really openly discuss it or talk about because that is always something in the back of my mind slash kind of affects our family's livelihood, I guess, or lives. So anyways, just wanted to get that out there, talked about, conversed about. So now you're in the know, now you're updated. So that is that little tidbit. So yeah, so anyways, that's been going on. So I didn't read anything for quite some time. So I'm not sure if I'll actually get through all the books on this reading vlog plan that I originally planned to, but it's fine. I'm definitely going to read some of these pink and red books anyways. So I decided to include, like I mentioned at the beginning, Dreaming of You, because I didn't plan to originally, and I totally should have because it was on my TBR for February anyways. So again, this is Dreaming of You, Lisa Kleypas. This was a reread for me. I have this reprinted cover, the step back moment, the original cover. Mine has this like annoying check mark, which I could probably try to take it off with something. I've just never messed with it or dealt with it. And then we have, which somebody sent me a little sticker of the step back one time years ago, which is so sweet. Then of course we have the beautiful step back moment as well. Derek Craven and Sarah, love them so much. I'll just hold up this one because it's red and it fits the theme. So this is Dreaming of You. This was actually a reread for me this month. I've already read it, binged it in a day. I just love this book so much. This one, I originally gave it 5 stars. It was 5 stars upon reread. I actually just had the live show for this one for our Lisa Kleypas Gamblers of Craven duet that we were doing read-alongs for, which was such a fun conversation because there was people who love this book and there were some who maybe don't as much, which is totally fair and fine. Not every book is going to work for everybody, so it just made the conversation, I feel like, more interesting. So if you want to check that out, I'll link it below because it was on my channel here, and it was so much fun to talk about this one and just talk about Derek Craven and all of the antics of this book. This book was originally published back in 1994, so at the time it was one of the first, if not one of the first, like newer historical romances with a hero, like a self-made man hero or working class hero, and of this guy who came from absolutely nothing. He was born in a drain pipe. He was left with no family. Nobody raised him, and he was kind of taken in by people, and definitely had to pick himself up from the gutter that he was born in, literally born in a drain pipe, and kind of make something for himself. He has money, he has land, he has this gaming club that he is the proud owner of. Like, his life is successful now monetarily as well as everything else, but he still feels like something's missing in his life. And then enters the heroine Sarah, which she has such a fun like meet cute moment of seeing them on page together for the first time, where she is out on the streets of London taking her notes down in the rookeries. She is kind of like a bit of a, well, she is a novelist, but she definitely acts like more of an investigative journalist, where she is kind of taking notes on the bad parts of town, I guess you could say, and more of that like real life experience of people on the streets and how they're living and different things like that, and calling out like injustices. And so she's taking notes, and Derek Craven is there as well, and there's a bit of a kind of stick-up situation where she ends up having to get a pistol out that she has on her and shoot some people, and it kind of goes from there, with her kind of having to step in, save Derek Craven for a bit, and then of course he is just so fascinated by this woman from there. I love in here how he thinks he is unworthy of her, he knows he's unworthy of her, and seeing just that complex relationship that they have. Of course they both have their own emotional insecurities and things to overcome and come through. I love character growth. This is the type of hero, the type of characters that I absolutely love in books. I love seeing somebody who is emotionally scarred and traumatic. He's very much the type of hero that I love to read about. So his character, this book really works for me. I love seeing Sarah as well. She has her own things to work through. She is kind of seeing somebody in her village that she might be engaged to one day, but this guy's just kind of keeping her on the line. He has a very complex relationship with his mother, slash he very much lets his mom rule their life. And he's like, yeah, my mom's gonna live with us when we get married and all of these things, and she can't stand his mom. He also, this is the other guy I'm talking about, by the way, not Derek Craven. This is the guy back in the village where he very much wants Sarah to give up writing when they get married. And it's like, yeah, you can't do that when we're married. So like immediate red flags from this guy. So Derek Craven notices all of these things about that guy immediately as well. So anyways, just kind of goes from there with Sarah entering Derek's world and kind of seeing Craven's and seeing all the different side characters and things going on there, and her becoming a part of his world and him just becoming so wholly invested and pulled into her. I love in here that Sarah, she wears glasses, and so Derek is just so taken with her. She's always leaving her glasses all over the place, and so he sneaks a pair away and carries them because he's just so fully obsessed with her. I love their book so much. It's just so good. So many things to talk about in this one. So anyways, 5 stars for this one. This is an iconic historical romance. If you're a historical romance lover and you haven't read this book, highly recommend. It's so good. Published back in '94. It definitely reads different, I would say, than some of Lisa Kleypas's newer releases, like the Wallflowers, Hathaway's, Ravenel's, all of those. More of her like heavier, emotionally scarred characters and maybe a little bit of darker elements. I'm wholly obsessed with this book. I love it so much. Such a good duet. So anyways, that is Dreaming of You, Lisa Kleypas. It was fun to reread this, especially since February 4th is a Derek Craven day. So we kind of planned that around reading this duet as well. So it was so much fun. I highly recommend. It's just so good. It's always fun to reread books. I actually hadn't reread this one for 5 years. So it was fun to go back, reread it, and have all of those same feelings and just being swept up in this story and these characters. Absolutely loved it. So we just had our live show for that. And then I also ended up picking up and already finished Indiscreet by Mary Baylog. So this is the first book in her Horseman trilogy. And this one, I love the pink metallic cover. Very, very pretty. This one, the audiobook was on Hoopla, which that's how I read the book. And this book I didn't love, which I'm trying to see when this book was published because I feel like it would have been around the same time as Dreaming of You. Oh, this one was 97, which is interesting because of some of the complexities, I guess, to the story or to the characters that went down in this one, which I didn't know about this one before going in, but definitely in here, content warning for the heroine's past in particular. So sexual assault in the past, as well as loss of an infant. So just know that going in. It does kind of delve into that parts of her character story, her history. So just know that going in. This one, all I knew about it beforehand was a widow heroine, and the hero in here, it was like a twin brother of somebody, and kind of ends up meeting her. She assumes he's the other brother, and then kind of realizes who he is, and he's just so taken with her and asks her to become his mistress. So that is why I jumped into this one. I will say this book didn't quite deliver on what it promises, which is always a weird, I feel like, tricky thing with books when they are kind of touted as one thing, and maybe that's part of the plot where some of those things might not actually be true. A little bit of a kind of, not really secret identity, but maybe like a hidden secret that they're keeping from others. So I will say that kind of played a part into the story. I won't say too much in case you do want to read it, but that was kind of the case of this one. So I went in expecting one thing, and that wasn't really the case because of a kind of hidden plot point, I guess you could say. And this one, the hero and the heroine, they do meet, and he does ask her to become his mistress, and it's mostly because of the fact that he is so taken with her, which I feel like is really common for Mary Baylog books. And that was kind of the case of this hero falls first. He's so invested and swept up in her, but the heroine is convinced, like, I do not want to marry again. I don't want to be involved with somebody again. So that is definitely off the plate. So that's kind of the reasoning for why he asks her to be his mistress, which I will say is one of the ways that I like the trope done. I don't always love that kind of power imbalance, power dynamic that it brings into play when somebody asks that of somebody else and kind of is looking at them or feeling like they're less than the hero, like when he asks somebody to be his mistress. So that's always been my big problem with that trope. And so I feel like in this one, it was kind of done more interestingly, or more of a way that I enjoyed it, because it was the fact that she didn't want to get married. And so he did offer up that at first, and was just like, no, I don't want that either. So then he was like, okay, well then will you be my mistress? Like, I just need you, want you in my life. So I did like that aspect of him just like fully committed, fully smitten, obsessed with her. Like he is even like at one point counting down the days and hours from when they have seen one another and when they get to see each other again. So I did like that like wholly obsessed hero. This does end up going into a marriage of convenience situation because of a compromised situation. So of course the heroine is not so happy or thrilled with that. I feel like in here as well, there was a lot of name calling going on and a lot of women hating women that I don't always love in books. So there was a lot of like slut shaming or other women in this book calling the heroine a slut or a whore, which is not my favorite thing to read. The hero at one point calls the heroine a bitch, which I definitely know people are going to have issues with. The hero as well in certain points kind of rubbed me the wrong way with some of his inner thoughts or inner dialogue of what he's thinking of with her, which I feel like it's hard to judge people based on their inner thoughts, because maybe in real life people do have inner thoughts and it's kind of more of how do they act or what do they say to the people to affect that, you know what I mean? Like you can have your own thoughts, but then it's the way that you're handling it, dealing with it, saying it out loud that becomes a problem. And so in here in particular, once they get married, and again, it's that marriage of convenience, it's their wedding night. And so the hero's asking the heroine like, oh, are you a virgin? And her answer is no. And so in the back of his mind, he's slightly annoyed with that, or kind of in his own head thinking about it. And like, how dare she give herself to somebody in the past, but she wasn't willing to become my mistress and give herself to me, even though she's done this before. So that rubbed me the wrong way as well. Do not love that. Which kind of leads into the other situation with this book where the hero, or the heroine I should say, she never wanted to become the hero's property. And so that was a lot of their arguing that they would have before even the marriage of convenience came to play, of just this like kind of becoming a man's property is what she didn't want. So him kind of feeling like she not really owed it to him, but that like, you've had sex before, why aren't you having sex with me? Like, excuse me, sir, she doesn't owe you anything. Even if you two had a physical relationship in the past, it doesn't mean she has to then give into it every single time, even with you. So like, nobody's owed that just because of somebody's past. So that definitely irked me and rubbed me the wrong way as well. So I don't know. I didn't love it. This one is the first in a trilogy. I might continue on because I feel like some other books in the trilogy might go a little differently. I am curious to read the rest of them because I do have the other books on my shelves. But for this one, it was, I don't know, my thoughts are complex with this one. Like maybe it'd be more 2.5 stars now that I'm talking about it out loud, because there wasn't a lot I loved from this one. I did appreciate and enjoy the heroine's character, but overall, yeah, didn't love the hero and his thoughts and kind of situational things with the heroine. So overall didn't love it. I'm glad I read it, so I'm glad I know now. But yeah, I don't think I would recommend this one, honestly. So I don't know, 2.5 stars probably. That's kind of how I'm feeling about this one. So I don't know. It was okay. Not my favorite Mary Baylog. I love her books usually. This one just did not work for me. So that is my reading update for now. I did get some book mail as well, which I will share. So I did end up getting sent The Sirens by Amelia Hart. I think I was just sent this one because it has a new like paperback release, which I do feel like is actually very pretty. It has like the shiny kind of moment with the coral on here. So very pretty. So I have not read this one. I have read this author before because she wrote a Wayward that I read quite a few years back now. And so I didn't love that book, but I'm curious about this one. So let me know if you've read it, if you think I would like it. I have no idea what it's even about. It says, they tried to drown our voices, but the sisterhood of the sea cannot be silenced. It goes back to the 1800s. Twin sisters are torn from their home in Ireland and forced into a ship bound for Australia. And then it has present day 2019 as well. Maybe I should check it out. I don't know. It kind of sounds historical fiction-y. Then some historical romance mail. So Eloisa James reached out and sent me her newest release, which comes out, I want to say in May. Yes, May 12th. So this is The Last Lady B. This one I think is a gothic, which I'm very intrigued by. So she signed it, which is so sweet and nice. Came with this little cutie postcard. Love that. And then a cute little matching bookmark for her book as well. So we love some book swag mail. So that was super sweet of her. This one comes out May 12th. I feel like her books are a little bit hit and miss for me, the ones I've read in the past, but I'm very intrigued of the fact that this is a gothic one because I love some gothic books, so I'm very intrigued. And then I was in an arc of Across the Vanishing Sky by Catherine Cowles. I was actually really hoping to get this cover because I'm obsessed. This isn't the final cover they ended up going with, but I love this pink cover and I love kind of like the background kind of coded messaging going on in here as well. I think it's really, really pretty. So I was hoping to get this one, and this one actually came during the week that I was not going through a good time with my mom update that I mentioned earlier. So this came at the end of that week, and it was kind of just like something happiness, some happy book mail that I needed at the right time. So I'm so happy and thankful that her publisher sent me this cutie copy. It came with a sticker sheet as well. Then I got this little cutie postcard from Catherine for the book and a little map, which we love. And then these cute little like trading cards slash collectible cards that she did where she sent them out of like kind of you figure out which character you are, and it has like little facts or tidbits about different characters in the book. So mine was the dog in the book, which I think is so cute. So I just stuck those in the book as well. I'm very excited for this one. This book comes out in March and I definitely want to read it soon. I'm dying to get to it. It is a romantic suspense, small town, first in a new series. I cannot wait. So this cover I'm just obsessed with. I think it's stunning. I love all the pink on pink. This is actually the new cover. So this is the actual cover of the book. It will show here. Yes. So it's kind of like a little bit darker, a little bit different shades of pink. I love this ARC copy, so I was hoping to get it. So I'm so thankful and happy to have this gorgeous copy. It's so stinking pretty. Obsessed with the pink on pink. It will go with my Catherine Cowles collection, which is up here. These two shelves, as well as down here as well, like most of the shelf. So almost 3 shelves she has taken over, and I'm not mad about it. And the last one, got this pretty one sent from the publishers. So this is A Graceless Heart, Isabel Ibanez. This one is stunning. The character art on here, the cover artist, I believe is somebody who has worked with Fairy Loot before. Obsessed with the art style. This really pretty moment. We have these gorgeous purple, stunning metallic pages. It's absolutely pretty. This is this author's first adult debut fantasy. Came with a gorgeous art print, which I feel like it's very dark, but very moody and stunning. There it is. Obsessed. So pretty. Then the interior does have a map on the inside end pages, as well as I think the actual like hardcover, yes, is decorated as well. Such a stunning book. So stinking pretty. So I'm excited to have this on my shelves. I've read this author years ago, so I'm excited to check out her adult debut fantasy, which is a fantasy romance, enemies to lovers. Very intrigued. So that's my update for today, and I'll check in again once I have some other updates later on. Alright, so I just filmed a few videos. I am in my new historical romance little nook of the room, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. It's right next to my desk area, and I kind of reorganized some things in my library slash office room, and so I'm so excited with this setup now and just being close to all of my historical romances, which I talked about a little bit more in a couple different videos I did recently that you will have already have seen if you watched my previous videos. But I'm here today with an update because I have been filming today, filmed a couple of videos going up that will already again be up on my channel by the time this video comes out, and I wanted to update on Tears of Gold by Laurie McBain because I've started this one and I'm about 200-ish pages in. Yeah, I'm just about halfway through, so I've read this much and I have this much more to go. I am loving this book so much. I feel like Laurie McBain, her books just really work for me. I've read a handful of her books now. I started reading her last year, and I am obsessed with her writing style. Her books were all published like in the late 1970s, early 1980s. She only published 7 books, and then she got out of the historical romance and author game in general. Her like beloved father had passed away, so she stopped writing and publishing, which I feel like is so sad, but I'm obsessed with her books that we do have. So this is Tears of Gold. Obsessed with the full red moment, the red pages. Love that I'm wearing red today as well, very like matchy-matchy. So I am about halfway through this one, and I wanted to come and check in because I haven't checked in yet. So this one is very intriguing. So I knew it was like a kind of revenge plot. So basically in here we're following Mara, the heroine, and we start off in England, in London. And in here, Mara and her brother, they were born to an Irish actress, and their mother ended up becoming a mistress to a man who ended up kind of tossing her out once she got older so he could like turn her in for somebody new. Super terrible of a man. I'm pretty sure he was their father as well, I want to say. But anyways, so Mara has always kind of hated that. Their mother didn't do well in life, and eventually she passed away. And so you see at the start of the story how Mara has always kind of taken out her revenge on other like men, especially men of means in her life. And so her and her brother have both become actors, actresses as well. And so in here, Mara has had a lot of like men who fall at her feet and just just become obsessed with her and love her, and of course they want to marry her and give her gifts and lavish her with love. And so she has always kind of consciously chosen to kind of seek revenge against the men in her life who treated her mother horribly. So she has taken it out on all of these men who kind of want to fall in love with her, and she kind of pushes them to the side and sees that as kind of this like retribution for what happened to her mother. And so the start of the story is this guy who is kind of obsessed with her and is wanting to profess his love for her, wants her to run away with him, is wanting to give her gifts. And so she sends him away because that's what she does with every man. And this guy ends up getting very upset about it, very hurt. He ends up shooting himself. He doesn't pass away though right away. And so we cut to his POV and he's kind of lamenting the fact about what's going on. And you see him talking to his uncle and kind of telling about Mara and how much she hurt him, and just that she wouldn't accept his love and she wouldn't accept his gifts, and she returned his gifts. And so his uncle, who's actually the hero of the book, is super, of course, wanting to get revenge for his nephew's sake against this woman who he sees as just doing terrible things and treating his nephew like trash. And so you see that Mara and her brother end up escaping from London, and they decide to take off to California. And so one thing about Laurie McBain books is there's so much action and adventure happening in her books. And so in here we follow her and her brother in a ship across the Atlantic Ocean to go to California. Her brother heard about the gold rush happening in California, so he wants to strike it rich as well. And so they are setting sail. They're going across the ocean, and halfway through, her brother, he is kind of a bit of a gambler and takes risks. And so he ended up kind of losing / gambling away all of their money on board to another passenger. And so he's like, yeah, now we don't have any money for when we finally get there. And so she's like, oh my God, dude, what is wrong with you? And so her brother's like, no, it's totally fine. I have a plan to get our money back. So her brother lost all their money to this man on board who was Don Luis. And so he ended up striking a deal with him. And so basically Don Luis was on his way to England to bring back his niece who hasn't been home in 15 years. And so he's from California. And so he was there to pick up his niece in England, who was raised in England. So basically she was betrothed to a California ranchero. And so he is on his way to go and grab her to bring her back to California to make this marriage happen. And so along his way, he didn't get her because she has kind of gotten used to her life in England and has zero plans of coming to California, has no memories of that. And so he is on his way home without his niece. And so he decides to make a bargain with Mara's brother and decides that maybe Mara can step in and be the niece who is supposed to be betrothed to this ranchero in California. Mara agrees / doesn't really have a choice because her brother has run out of money and this is their only way they're going to make it there. So she decides to pretend to be this niece of Don Luis and come with him and kind of pretend to be this woman who is supposed to get married to somebody in California. And so we see that happening. And then in the meantime, the hero, who his name is Nicholas, who was the uncle of that man who shot himself after Mara turned him down in London, he has kind of tracked her down and is trying to find her. He's originally from New Orleans, and you see that now he is kind of in her orbit right now and getting very enraptured by her. And so it's kind of going from there. We have a lot of like cat and mouse situations of him wanting to seek revenge, but also he's so pulled into her and kind of into her spell / both of them are pulled to one another, and we're seeing this like passion between them. We just got a steamy scene between them. One thing I really enjoy about this author's writing is that her books, this one was published in 1979, I want to say. Let's see. Yes, 1979. Her books really have a lot of consent, and there's not like problematic, dubious non-consent or anything like that happening in her books, which I really appreciate. We'll see as the story progresses if that happens, but I know her books I've read in the past, they're very much full of consent, which is nice to see in some of these books published way back then. So that is something that I just appreciate. We'll see though as the story goes on, because I mean this is kind of a revenge story, so we'll see where it goes, but I am really enjoying it so far and I cannot wait to continue on. So just had to come and update. So far I'm enjoying Mara. I like Nicholas, the hero. We're seeing, like I said, Mara's brother who has made some mistakes and gambled away their money. He also has his young son Patty with them as well, who his mother was, I believe, another actress who is not a part of their life anymore. And so we see how Mara has really kind of taken care of and raised her nephew alongside her brother. And so I'm just loving the like family dynamic, all the side characters. I just love all the historical tidbits we get in her books. Like I mentioned, we have gone from London, we're gone to California following this gold rush. We have seen kind of this disappearance beginning to start to happen with California ranchos. We're going to, of course, New Orleans, where Nicholas is from. And so I'm just loving the like history tidbits she puts into her books. They also just feel very lush and like atmospheric. Like I can really see this playing out as like a TV adaptation in my head. I can see all these characters. They just feel very rich in detail. well, and I'm obsessed with all of them, and I'm just here for the ride of their story pretty much, and just like seeing their entire life unfold. They're complex. I just love the way that she writes. I'm finding that about honestly all of her books, so this one I feel like is going to be one of my favorites as well. So far, her other favorite that I love is Moonstruck Madness, which was a Scottish highwaywoman, which I read last year, and so I loved that one so much. But this one I feel like is going to be another favorite. I'm just obsessed. I love her writing. She was an author who came out right after Kathleen E. Woodiwiss, and so she was one of the first authors who started to write in that kind of new format of historical romance that Kathleen Woodiwiss is known for kind of creating or starting. And so I am just obsessed. I love reading these. These authors are kind of referred to as the modern day grandmothers of historical romance, and so I'm just obsessed. I love the writing so much. It's just so lush and descriptive, and I'm obsessed with the characters and learning more about them. Of course, seeing the history. I really love that blend of history in my romances, in my historical romances especially. So I'm intrigued. I'm obsessed. I'm loving it. Just so I cannot wait to honestly dive back into this. I'm just taking my time with it because, like I mentioned, it is just so filled with so much going on, and so I cannot wait to continue on. So that is where I'm at so far with that one. I cannot wait to continue and get more into it. It is Friday night right now that I'm filming. This vlog ends up becoming like kind of a monthly vlog with me, or at least a couple weeks worth, which I kind of enjoy being able to check in on it and kind of jump to other reads as well, and not just stick to all the historical romance reads back to back. So I've been breaking it up and reading some other new releases and some arc reads. I read like a post-apocalyptic romance, a new one from Claire Kent coming out next month. I have the new Catherine Cowles that I'm going to be reading, her new release for March as well. So I'm definitely mixing it up, reading my other reads, and then I come back and check in on this vlog. But yeah, it's Friday night. I just finished up filming a couple videos for my channel, and then I have some author work to do later tonight. I usually fit in some of the like content work I have to do for authors towards the end of the night when the house is quiet and I can just focus and sit in here and work. And then I have some packages to mail off as well, because I've been doing unhauls for the past couple months. I have another unhaul to film again soon, and so I'm just like obsessed with clearing out my bookshelves. And as I was moving things over to this shelf area, the shelves on the other side of me right now, those are the main shelves you always see in my videos, and those I have been going through and really trying to curate the bookshelves that I want and kind of like showcase my reading nowadays. So I've been unhauling so many books, but I'm kind of loving it, and I'm obsessed with keeping it moving, keeping it going. So I'm kind of enjoying that journey. I have another unhaul to film again soon, but yeah, so I have some books to pack up and mail out from books that have sold. Then I have my videos to edit that I just filmed earlier, and we will see what else happens this Friday night. I think my daughter and I are going to play a video game that she's obsessed with right now. We're probably just gonna have a night in. We have like some deli meats and make some deli sandwiches, have a salad and sandwich, and just like keep it chill, keep it cozy for the weekend. So those are my plans. I will check in again once I have another update. Well, I'm back with an update, and it's not great. Things took a turn. Let's get into it. So I filmed a come book shopping with me yesterday, where I was going to some used bookstores, thrift stores, those type of things. I was looking for historical fiction books and just books in general to add to my collection. And I was listening to the audiobook of Tears of Gold, Laurie McBain. This one I had been really enjoying. I was loving it. It was going to be a favorite from this author, and then things took a turn, and I should have seen it coming, but I didn't even think about that. And then, of course, things happened. So this book, like I mentioned, it is like starts off in 1848. It's the early 1850s. And we started with this Irish heroine. She was in London. She was working as an actress. Her and her brother went to California, went to America for the gold rush. They were living in San Francisco. We see her with her nephew, and we really get these slice of life moments with a ton of different characters, a ton of their lives. I had a lot more to update and talk about this one on, but the hero in this one, he is from New Orleans, and I didn't even piece it together with the time frame, but I obviously should have. And so yeah, I had other updates on this one, but instead we're going to talk about the other facts about this book. So the hero in this one, he does eventually go back to New Orleans. The heroine goes with him, and we find out that he had not lived in New Orleans for 15 years. He was like in this duel with his brother, and he was accused of killing his brother, and so we kind of get some moments of his backstory from there. But when we get back to New Orleans with this character, his home was/is a plantation. So yeah, that is where things took a turn for me and where I stopped enjoying this book. And so that's obviously not the type of historical romances I'm trying to read. I don't want a hero like that in real life in a book. I know it's a part of history, so that always makes it, like, I obviously don't want those moments deleted from history. Obviously, I feel like those are important conversations to have. But as far as this book, with being heavier on the historical fiction aspect, but also this being a historical romance and he's supposed to be the hero of the book, that's a part that I have a problem with. I don't want to read or see this character who is unapologetic. And so it's not glamorizing the fact of what it was / who he is, but it's obviously not doing that either, which is where I have a problem with. It was kind of more matter of fact that the way the characters talked about and of his family's history and the past of this home that he loves so much, and like that, it's just not going to work for me. So this is going to be one where like that didn't happen until like maybe 75% into the story. Like I said, I should have seen it coming with the time period, and honestly I just wasn't even thinking about that. It's not mentioned anywhere. I even went on Goodreads, looked at people's reviews, all different types of star ratings to see if other people were talking about this. I went on Reddit, I went on a bunch of different sites to see if people ever talked about this aspect of the book. I couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm definitely going to be taking out my bookmark. I will be done with this book. Sadly, it will not be one that I recommend, but I feel like I still wanted to come and talk about it. Obviously, in my Goodreads review, I'm still going to review it. I'm not going to put a rating, but I will definitely put kind of a concise feelings of everything that I just talked about in this video also in the Goodreads review, because I feel like, why aren't people mentioning that? I wouldn't have picked this one up if I knew that about the hero and his family's history and all of that. So that's Tears of Gold, Laurie McBain. Yeah, so that is how that one went. But now we're going to pick up The Seduction by Nicole Jordan, and I am very excited for this one. This is our Historical Hellions book club pick for the month, and this video ended up just being me reading pink and red historical romances, which was like perfect for February. I feel like they kind of all have similar kind of like revenge as well as kind of like mistress plots around them, but like red and pink as well. So I love that. Love the cover for this one. It's so pretty with the burgundy curtains. We have the gold and the rose petals on the step back as well. I'm very excited to get into this one. This is the one where the heroine's brother did something to the hero's sister, and so now the hero wants revenge, and I think in here the heroine is going to be working or like a companion of sorts to the hero's sister, because she wants to make amends for what her brother did to the hero's sister, as far as that's what I'm getting from the back of the synopsis. So I am ready to dive into this one. This is a new to me author. Like I mentioned, it's our Historical Hellions book club pick for February. Our live show is this upcoming weekend, so this is like Sunday that I'm filming this, and this is going to be our next weekend's book club pick. So I'm excited to get into this one. This will be the last one for this vlog, and I will catch up again once I have some thoughts on this one. All right, I am 30% into The Seduction right now, and I am so obsessed, so I had to come and check in before I get a little carried away and probably end up finishing this one tonight. I am absolutely loving it. So at first I wasn't too sure what to think about this one or what my thoughts were going to be, because we are first introduced to the hero Damien Sinclair when he is tied up to a bed with silk sheets, and a like famous actress in London is trying to try out, so to speak, to become his mistress. And so that's literally how the book opens up. So I wasn't too sure how it was going to go from there. This is my first time reading this author, but I'm so hooked. So basically we get through that scene, that happens, that's the prologue, and towards the end of the prologue somebody interrupts them. Like once they're finished, somebody from his staff comes in to tell him that something has happened to his sister, and so the hero immediately is like, what's going on? I need to go find her immediately. And so he is told that his 18-year-old sister Olivia, who lives out in the countryside in one of their family estates, that she has been injured, that she fell down a staircase, and the doctor is thinking that her spine is going to be permanently injured. She seems to have like lost feeling in the bottom half of her body, and so he immediately goes over to find out what's going on with her. He is told that his sister was trying to elope with somebody, and that man was a viscount, somebody who he is familiar with, who recently has earned a title. Basically that man ended up going back on his word, and so during that hustle and bustle, his sister was so filled with emotion that she ended up falling down the stairs, and so he takes off to go and find her immediately. And then from there we cut to a couple months later, so that was in March, and then we jump to May, and we see the hero who he is in kind of a club scene or kind of gambling, and the heroine Vanessa, she is kind of watching him from afar, and she is there to kind of get into his orbit and to meet him. So we find out from her that her brother is actually the one who ended up duping the hero's sister and causing her injury, and so now Vanessa is wanting to be able to stop the hero from seeking revenge against her family. Basically her brother got like invited to the club that the hero is a part of, and he gambled with him and he lost, and he didn't just lose, he lost like everything. Like he lost their family estates, all of their money, his inheritance, all of their family homes. And so the heroine, Vanessa, is like, it's not going to hurt me, but it is definitely going to hurt our ailing mother. It's going to hurt our younger sister's chances. So I needed to try to make things right and try to stop the hero from seeking out this revenge and taking everything that we own. And so she goes to the hero with this proposition to see if she can somehow make amends with him or fix like her brother's problems. So the hero is very intrigued with her the first time that he meets her, and we see them have a couple different encounters at different meetings, and eventually she ends up finding out that he's in town in London to try to find a companion to take care of his sister out in the countryside. And so she's like, oh, I volunteer / can I be that person who can be the companion to your sister to make amends for my family's debts, and maybe you can wipe the slate clean? And so he's like, actually, instead I have a different proposition for you, and how about you become my mistress through the summer, and then I will null and void all of your brother's gambling debts. And so she ends up taking it, because I mean, what else is she gonna do? So like I mentioned, I'm 30% in right now, so I've read this much and I have this much more to go. I honestly might just finish it tonight. Yeah, I might finish it tonight because I am absolutely obsessed. I'm loving it. I feel like it's going to be so good. It's exactly what I want right now, and I feel like it's really hitting. So I'm excited to find this new to me author. Hopefully I end up loving hers. I know she has a ton of books, so I definitely want to check out more soon. I'm curious if any of the other characters we're kind of meeting are going to get books as well. Even like the hero's sister, she's 18, so I know she's young, and I'm loving like her encounters with the heroine, who Vanessa has gone and like met his sister now and is in the countryside at their family estate, and I'm loving her interactions with his sister and of just like becoming her friend, trying to get her out of her room because his sister has just been kind of laid up in bed and is kind of like depressed and bedridden and not wanting to get out. She's not wanting to even hear from doctors and see if there's maybe any chance of her body healing or anything. So she's just been kind of staying in bed, and so Vanessa is kind of pulling her out of that slowly but surely. So I'm loving that, as well as the hero in here. I love his like, he kind of like pushes Vanessa, but also like respects her boundaries and is like, I'm not going to make a move on you. You're going to make the move on me, but also I'm going to be like flirty and we're going to do a little bit of something. But as far as like the bedroom activities, I will do that when you come to me. I also enjoy when the cover or the step back moments are like parts of the story. So here we have like the rose petals, we have the rose on the bed, which I love when the parts of the story like play into the cover art or the step back instead of being like random things. So in here, the roses are really important because the hero's family, that's kind of part of their family crest, as well as he is actually the one who has kind of cultivated and brought back to life the rose gardens on his family's estate. He's also been sneaking into her room at night and leaving roses on the bed pillow next to her. So I'm just loving all of the like rose moments in here. I'm really enjoying the hero and the heroine's encounters. We see how the heroine is kind of like that eldest daughter energy, where she is the one who's been taking care of the family. She's been in charge of their family's finances and, like I said, taking care of their mother, who is kind of bedridden at times. She's also been taking care of their younger sisters, and so she doesn't really make excuses for her brother, but she kind of acknowledges the fact that he's young, he's naive, they didn't have a good father example in their life, and so he never had any of those kind of like male role models. In here as well, we find out that he was basically doing like this bet with some of his friends when they were hunting in the countryside, and that is when he first met the hero's sister, and it was kind of part of a bet to see if she could fall for him, and then it wasn't supposed to go as far as it did, obviously, and he feels responsible at least for what happened. So it is nice that he actually has some like acknowledging of what he did was wrong, and he feels bad, but also like, you were dumb enough to do that. So I am curious to see where it's going to go from here. I'm really enjoying it so far. The heroine in here is kind of giving me vibes of Amelia Hathaway from Lisa Kleypas's Hathaway series from Mine Till Midnight, that kind of like eldest daughter energy of the one taking care of the family while her brother is a bit of a mess and new to a title. And so it's kind of giving me those vibes, probably because I reread that one recently. So it's kind of like fresh in my mind, but I am really enjoying it. I feel like it has 5-star energy already. And like I said, I'm only 30% in, so I cannot wait to see where it goes. I am obsessed. I'll also share some book mail I got today. So today is actually Monday, and tomorrow on the 24th, actually both of the books that I got in today come out. So I definitely am going to take some photos of these tomorrow, get my Instagram posts and all of that, but I'm excited that I got book mail and that I got it a little bit earlier than release date, because sometimes this book mail be taking forever to get here. So I got And Now Back to You by BK Borison. So I pre-ordered this from the indie like local bookstore that the author signed that, because I've done that for the last few releases she's done. I love supporting this author and I really love all of her books. And this new one is a weatherman and a weatherwoman, and they're kind of rivals, but they have to work together, and it is coming after A First Time Caller, which I loved last year. That was actually my first 5-star read of 2025. So I am so excited for this one. It comes out on February 24th. Almost said January, but we are for sure in February. And it came with some swag as well. So it did come signed from the author. So here is a cutie little sticker, this little like cake moment. And what does it say? It says men with slutty little glasses. And so we have that. She also did one of these for Good Spirits in December. It came with like a little cake as well. And then we have a bookmark that matches the hero and the heroine, so it can go either way, as well as on the back, it just says, and now back to you. Then we got this art print as well of the couple, so that is so cute. Then I got some Laura Pavlov book mail, so it came in this giant tote, which I love, and it's embroidered, so it says Rosewood River Review, the Taylor Tea, and then it says, hey there, roses, with a little cute embroidery. Like, this is so stinking cute. I love a good tote, and Laura Pavlov always has amazing PR boxes. So first we have this, it says single dad, the superior trope, love that. And then it has this little keychain with little like dad things. So it says dad, as well as it has like a screwdriver, a wrench, a little hammer. That's actually really cute of a keychain. It came with this white bow, and on the back it says hair bows are my superpower. It came with this, which I'm sure is going to be stickers and art prints and all of that for the book. So this is for the book, Whisper Sweet Nothings. We have the typewriter, some more cute stickers. So we have a heart, we have some other little like quoting moments. We have the Laura Pavlov sticker she always sends. We have the hero and the heroine little cutouts. I always love that she has those bookmarks. And then she always puts in these like little postcards as well, which have the Indiscreet cover. I think these are the ones that the like publisher that she's working with has these editions like at bookstores. And then we have the People cover, always my absolute favorites of hers that she does. Then just the cute Laura Pavlov one. She'll have like all of her books on the back. And then of course we have the book Obsessed. Her couple covers always hit. They're so gorgeous. Love the green on here as well. The spine, it's so pretty. The couple on the back as well. Very excited. And so let's see. I think she usually, yeah, she'll sign them as well. This is the 6th and final book in her Rosewood River series. So I'm very excited to get to it and find out all the things with the end of this book and see all the couples again and this family. This one's also out February 24th. So of course, by the time you're seeing this video, both of these books are out. That's my update on reading. Like I mentioned, it's Monday night. So I have some Instagram graphics I'm going to make tonight just for my own Instagram throughout the week. And I might have a couple things for authors to do. I ended up filming and editing so many videos over the weekend and last night. So I am actually caught up now on my YouTube videos for like 2 to 3 weeks out. So love that so much. It's honestly kind of nice when sometimes I'm just in the mood and I have all the ideas and I have all the stuff I want to film. So I just had to like go then and strike while the iron was hot and get all of that energy out. So that was fun to do yesterday, and that is already scheduled, edited, all the things. Love it. So I'm probably just going to finish up the graphics, send out a couple emails that I need to send out. Then I'll get back to reading The Seduction tonight. I cannot wait. So I'll come back and check in again later, probably once I've finished, unless I have like other thoughts along the way. Alright, I'm here with my final update on The Seduction by Nicole Jordan, as well as to finally close out this vlog. So I just hopped off of a live show with Tori for our historical fiction book club live show that we had, which was a very fun discussion and a great book that was a new to us author. So that was a fun time, and now I'm here to switch gears and to close out the vlog for The Seduction for Nicole Jordan. It's the end of February. Our live show for this one is actually coming up in 2 days, but I want to get my thoughts on here before our live show and just to finish off this vlog. I probably won't get it out until the start of March, but just to have it finished. So I did end up finishing The Seduction, Nicole Jordan, and continued to absolutely love this book so much. I'm going to give it 5 stars. I had such a good time. I'm honestly really excited now to continue on and read more from this author. This was the first time I've read her, and I went on to look this series in particular. This is the first book. There's actually 5 books in the series. So the other 4, especially the next book, sounds really, really good. I already picked up the second book from my library, the ebook, because it sounded so stinking good. So I cannot wait. But anyways, The Seduction, Nicole Jordan, here to finish out my thoughts. I think I had updated, I don't even remember when, if I was halfway through or something, but I did end up reading the rest of this one. It was such an easy one to fly through. I really enjoyed it. I don't remember if I mentioned it before, but the heroine in here, she is a widow, so that definitely comes into play with her relationship because she never wants to marry again. It's also helping her with being a companion to the hero's sister Olivia, because in here, the heroine, Vanessa, she she is under a different last name than her brother, so that is kind of how she's been keeping it a secret, because the hero and her both agreed that they shouldn't tell his sister that Vanessa is the sister of the man who like did her wrong. And so you know that that's definitely going to come up and be a part of the plot with her becoming close to his sister. And then of course, you know, the sister's going to find out of who the heroine is actually related to and cause a whole thing. So that does eventually happen on into the halfway point of the story. Vanessa's brother Aubrey, he comes and sees Olivia, who is the one who was injured and who is the hero's sister, and he comes to make amends, apologize to her, and kind of tries to make things right because he's been feeling guilty over that. So you kind of see them trying to secretly meet, and Vanessa kind of helps them out, and it keeps their secret meetings of him coming to kind of apologize and get to know Olivia a little bit more at the house. And so you see that kind of little like romance sparking and budding in the background, which I thought was really fun. Vanessa as well, she starts to realize that her relationship, or not even like that people know that she's having a relationship with the hero, but they know that she is being around him, and just like her reputation is starting to get ruined because of being associated with him, that people know she's living in his house. So she knows that that's going to hurt her in the future once her and Damien kind of split up. So she decides to ask him if he can help her in becoming a seductress and just being able to seduce men to eventually be able to land a man that way with her like sexual prowess. So there's a little bit of like lessons in seduction that comes into play in this one, and I love seeing how Damien just realizes over time how much he's falling for her. Of course, he's not like admitting that to himself, admitting that to her, but we as the reader and other people around him, like his friends, they see that happening. Some more things kind of come up from there and go into other things. We have some proposals happening. We have some people getting turned down. We have a duel happening. Like so much happens on page, I feel like, and it's just so much fun. I really enjoyed this one. I'll leave out some of those parts because in case you want to read it for yourself, I did like at the end, of course, the hero and the heroine are getting back together. I mean, this is a romance. We know that's happening, but I loved seeing the way that they came back together and kind of that time apart and them really coming to be on the same page about things. She actually at the end offers to be his mistress again, and I liked how the hero was the one who was like, absolutely not. I only want you as my wife. That is what you deserve. That is what I want from you. So I really enjoyed that aspect as well. The epilogue as well was a lot of fun. So yeah, overall 5 stars. Absolutely loved this one. Here is the gorgeous step back moment again. It is so stinking pretty, and I'm just excited to have another new to me favorite author of historical romances that I can maybe check out more of her backlist. I guess I shouldn't say like new favorite author, but this is definitely a new favorite book of mine, and I want to read the rest of hers to see if she could become a new favorite historical romance author. So glad I read this one at 5 stars. I'm real curious how our Historical Hellions live show chat is going to go for this one, because I feel like us hosts are never really always on the same page. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to go and what other people's reactions to this book was, because I know I loved it. So I'm glad about that. So another 5 stars, which I will look up the second book that I was talking about in this series. All right, so the second book after the Seduction in this Notorious series, which I'm pretty sure this series is not like tied together or anything, so you could read them really in any order. But the second book is called The Passion, and it says, to escape marriage to a despised man twice her age, Lady Aurora makes a scandalous arrangement with Nicholas Sabine, a dangerously handsome American facing execution for murder and piracy. She agrees to become his wife for one day and one glorious, intoxicating night. Widowed, Aurora returns to London society with Nicholas's orphaned sister at her side to face a lifetime without love until her dead husband returns, insisting that she honor their vows and haunting her dreams with passion of forbidden desire. Excuse me. This sounds so good. I cannot wait to read this one. I'm real excited. This honestly kind of gives me the vibes of the Kate Bateman book, where the heroine goes to marry some man who is at Newgate Prison, and she knows he's going to die the next day just to make her a widow. And he was like secretly undercover as a bowstring runner and comes back, and they have to like pretend to be married / they are married and pretend to have a relationship. So this one's kind of giving me those vibes, at least from that description. So I cannot wait to continue on with Nicole Jordan now. All right, so that was a super fun vlog to do. So let's see, to run down the books that I read, we had Dreaming of You, Lisa Kleypas. This was a reread for me. This is the newer printed cover, and I'm going to fit this one in just because it matches my red and pink theme for this video vlog. But so this one was a reread, 5 stars, absolutely love it. Derek Craven, so good. Then I read Indiscreet, Mary Baylog. This was the first book in her Horseman trilogy. This one sadly did not work for me. This was a 2-star read. Sadly not a favorite from Mary Baylog, but I do love the author's writing in general. Cheers to Gold, Laurie McBain. This one was very disappointing because of the turn that the story took with the hero and with his family's past with a plantation and being a plantation owner. Not the type of books I'm trying to read. So that one was a total miss for me. But then The Seduction and Nicole Jordan, a 5-star read. So starting it and ending it with a really good read, which is always a fun time. So yeah, those were the 4 reads I read for this vlog. All my red and pink historical romances. Absolutely absolutely love that. That will be the theme kind of for this vlog. So I think actually going into March, I'm going to plan to do historical romance vlogs again, but I think I want to do them instead of being like a month-long vlog that you don't get until the end of the month. I want to kind of split them up and have maybe 2 a month where you can get some a little bit sooner / a quicker turnaround for a vlog, because I feel like these ones I'm sitting on the footage for literally a month and you're getting it so much later than when it actually happened. So I think I'm gonna do that for March, and I honestly think I want to do a like reading green historical romances maybe, because like doing a monthly themed kind of vlog was really fun for February. So I think I might do that, reading like green covers, green step backs, and then I might do also reading Highlander historical romances, because for some reason the Highlander vibe is giving me green vibes as well, and green just like really relates to March for me. So I definitely want to do that, I think. So if you have any recommendations for Highlander historical romances or anything, let me know. I have some on my TBR already, but if you have some, let me know in the comments as well. If you're gonna pick up any of these books, let me know. If you've read any of these and loved anything else from Nicole Jordan, definitely let me know that as well. Again, I've linked all the books below, and I have even more historical romance content. If you want even more from me, I'll link the playlist below. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you want to leave me an emoji in the comments, leave me a red or pink heart for this red and pink themed vlog. So leave me a red or a pink heart in the comments, and if you haven't done so yet, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!